Hello boys, welcome back to another session of video tutorials, and this session is meant for class 11th biology students, and this is meant for 12th January 2021. As all of us know, we are revising the entire syllabus, and as part of the revision we are doing in this session chapter number 21, neural control and coordination. In our previous session we talked about what is nervous system, what is a neuron, parts of neuron, functions of parts of neuron. Also we talked about the various nervous systems that are present in human body, what are the broad duties or functions of each nervous system. In this session we are going to talk about how the nervous system will work, irrespective of which type. They have to work with this generation and conduction of nerve impulse. So a nerve impulse is basically electromagnetic waves that are to be generated. How does this electromagnetic impulses will generate in a nerve, so that information processing models will work out? So basically ion channels are present in neural membrane, which is selectively permeable to different ions. When neuron is not conducting impulse, that means it is taking resting. Axonal membrane is more permeable to potassium ions, K plus ions, and impermeable to sodium ions. This is the first statement you need to remember. So they permit only K plus when they are not conducting impulse, and they are impermeable to sodium ions. Next, ionic gradient across the resting membrane is maintained by active transport. What do you mean by active transport? ATPs are spent. Active transport of ions by sodium-potassium pump. This will develop a positive charge outside the axonal membrane and negative charge on the inner side. So both outside you can see it is developing the negative charges on the inner side. You can see the minus here, and outside you can see the plus. Okay, and then there is a sodium pump, Na plus, you can see here, and then you can see also this the movement of ions once the gradient is built up. So the electrical potential difference across the resting membrane is called resting potential. Okay, when stimulus is applied at site A, okay, this is site A, stimulus is applied at site A, the membrane becomes permeable to sodium ions. To make rapid influx of Na plus ions to create outer surface negatively charged. So you are seeing here the outer surface is becoming negatively charged. Look at that. Once the Na plus are allowed. Once that happens, then we are creating, or the neuron is creating, action potential or nerve impulse. The nerve impulse from A moves to B. Okay, from A it's moving to B in inner surface, and B to A on the outer surface. Here you are seeing B to A on the outer surface. This process is repeated several times to transmit the impulse. So it is the sodium ion which is playing a crucial role. Nerve impulse is transmitted from one neuron to another neuron through synapse. Recollect from your memory, yesterday I said the minute gap between the branches of dendrite of one neuron to the branches of axon. That minute gap is synapse, and I said synapse will help in enhancing the speed of impulses, nerve impulses, from one neuron to another neuron. So there are two types of synapses. One is the electrical synapse that we talked yesterday. The membrane of pre and post synaptic neuron is very close to each other, and current flow directly from one neuron to another neuron. Another one, chemical synapse. Pre and post synaptic neuron is separated by a fluid space called synaptic cleft. So yesterday I told you neurotransmitters like acetyl-CoA are involved in transmission of impulses. These neurotransmitters are very, very important. So having understood this functional unit of nervous system, that is neuron, we move on to now the major nervous system that is present in our body, central nervous system or central neural system. It includes two things, as we said. Main thing is the brain. So brain is the central information processing organ of our body and acts as command and control center. Look at that. That's how brain is very, very important. Human brain is protected by skull, cranium, and three layers of cranial meninges. Outer dura mater, okay, middle arachnoid, and inner pia mater. So there are three layers which are protecting the brain. Now quickly draw the diagram. Keep paper with you. Draw the diagram. After drawing the diagram, label it. Cerebral hemisphere, corpus callosum, cerebral aqueduct, and we come to the spinal cord here. Then medulla oblongata, then cerebellum. This is cerebellum, and pons, and then thalamus. Okay, here that is the thalamus, and hypothalamus, that swimming pool like thing, small bluish one, and of course majority of the brain is occupied by cerebrum. So we can divide the entire brain into three parts: forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. So brain can be divided into forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. Forebrain, as you are seeing, consists of cerebrum. Identify cerebrum, largest portion with a lot of depressions. Okay, thalamus. Identify thalamus, that swimming pool bluish color. Hypothalamus, that's a small gland, hypothalamus. So cerebrum is divided into left and right cerebral hemispheres. We can virtually break the brain into two parts, or the skull into two parts, left and right hemispheres. These are covered by cerebral cortex, that is called gray matter. Cerebral cortex contains sensory neurons, motor neurons, and associated neurons. All the three will be there. Association area controls complex functions like intersensory associations and memory and communication. We say always communication skills, no? Who is controlling it? This association area of the cortex, cerebral cortex. Thalamus. Cerebrum wraps around a structure called thalamus. It's the major coordinating center for sensory and motor signaling. Hypothalamus controls the urge for eating. Look at that. Hypothalamus controls the urge for eating. So nowadays doctors are trying to understand why somebody is becoming very fat, why somebody cannot have a control on eating, drinking, and body temperature. And they also release hypothalamic hormones. Limbic system is involved in controlling sexual behavior and expression of emotional reaction. That's how hypothalamus is very, very important. Midbrain is located between hypothalamus and pons of hindbrain. Dorsal portion consists of four round lobes called corpora quadrigemina. They are involved in relay of impulses back and forth between cerebrum, cerebellum, pons, and medulla. Hindbrain consists of pons, medulla oblongata, very, very important organ, and of course cerebellum, seat of intelligence. Pons consists of fiber tracts that interconnect different regions of the brain. Medulla oblongata contains centers which control, look at that, respiration. That's why we must give a lot of importance to this medulla oblongata. Spontaneous spot death will take place if there is a major injury to this center. And of course it controls cardiovascular reflexes and gastric secretions. And cerebellum, of course, controls our balance and posture, and of course we consider this as seat of intelligence. So in our next session we will talk about reflex action, where there is no involvement of brain. Until then, draw the diagram, label it.